Are Spica, Temerza and Midas. The three villages were flooded in the early 1940s. They had 5 years of heavy rain all over, and all the villages were flooded, and people abandoned the villages to go away. Because all you are seeing just down, these canyons are riverbeds. So when you have a lot of rain, all the river gets back to its bed, and then it takes everything in front of it. And that's why you have all these mountains, all the erosions, and the erosions done all over is done by water and not wind, because here you don't have sand, you have rocks. These aren't mountains. So you have the canyon. Let me tell you, behind me, that mountain is Algeria. The only border between Tunisia and Algeria is this canyon. If you want to go further there, closer to see the canyon, it's really wonderful to see. And behind you, over there, you have an oasis. The particularity of these oases in the three villages, these are mountain oases. Generally, you don't find oases on mountain tops. You find them in the sand, and these are the unique three ones we have in Tunisia. We don't have any of these. The particularity of an oasis, if ever you know how things go and how agriculture goes in an oasis, you have the palm trees. These are palm trees for dates, and they grow very tall and very high to give shadow to the underneath layer. Generally, the underneath layer can be olive trees, almond trees, can be also orange trees. These middle high trees. And then you have a third layer, which is a shorter one, and they have different kind of crops like tomato, potato, pepper, any other thing. So that's why generally when you look into an oasis, it is green from bottom to top. And that's very important for the people. If you grow an olive trees need some shadow. It doesn't go to sun directly, and here the weather goes very hot during the 3 months, summer, June, July and August. So it's really wonderful for an olive tree to grow under the shadow of these palm trees. And the palm trees stand very hot days. And that's how the three layers go into these oases. These oases are still used for people, and people still own their parts of the oases. People do not live in the village next to the oasis, they live away from the oases. So I'll give you time to have a look at the canyon all over. It's really wonderful to see. English patient will also film down in the Sahara, like Star Wars.
So they didn't do it in Morocco, they do it here now?
No, English Patient was here in Tunisia, not in Morocco. And Star Wars, the three Star Wars films were done in Tunisia. The first one in Tatooine, that's why you have the land for Luke Skywalker. I don't remember the name, was Tatooine. Tatooine references Tatooine. Then it was filmed, the first one was filmed in Tatooine. The second one was filmed in Matmata. Some of the scenes of Star Wars were filmed in these canyons. Do you remember their flights? Yes. These canyons, yes. And the last one was filmed in the desert in Tunisia, and the decor is still standing in the desert, and people go there to visit it. Unfortunately, it's not in your program. Maybe we will schedule it for another group. Just keep on checking, like I say every time, keep on checking the website. But all the films, Star Wars films, were all filmed here in Tunisia.
Find that bar. Isn't there a bar with
the animals?
Yeah, all of them, all the decor. If you go to the desert, you'll find the decor, the wonderful things over there still standing. And then there is a hotel in Qasr Hadada where they filmed the first Star Wars. You go there and you find the small holes. You remember in Star Wars he had to climb from one hole to the other hole with some kind of rope because that was his planet. Everything is still there. Really, everything is still.
Just 10 dinar. Very expensive. 10 dinar.
Give me 30. I can't. In Tunisia, this or in Jerba, it's 100 dinar. Really? It's 100 dinar, not for the best price it's here. Like this much? The last price for that. 1 dinar. Could I give me 20 dinar?
Get back here later.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No jumping? Nobody
But if
jump?
you want to jump here, there are some divers. I saw them with their swimming, swimming to the crowd or the dive.
Let me ask you, the kids here too, they bring with them and they dance?
Hookah, yeah, and they dance. Yeah,
That they do it in Jordan too.
yeah, we do it. We do it very often in Tunisia.
But no, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not joking. They took everything from us. You know, after the revolution, everything taken us from us. No woman can sing.
I'm not sure the cable knows right now. Barbara, will DJ manage to get down the stairs and up the stairs again? Is she staying there? She's upstairs.
DJ's not
Jessie.
coming.
Oh, she's not
She's
coming.
not coming. Okay.
But she was right behind me.
To show you how water goes in this oasis. It is an oasis. We will see the cascade later on. And here you have water that goes down, and then all over you have all these water canals, and water goes all over to irrigate all the palm trees, all different plants you have in this oasis. So you have water underneath, and you will go up again to see the cascade from the other side. So let's go up again.
You like small one? No.
Oh, so nice. That's a good idea.
C'est relaxant.
يا ديسي اشياء هيك تستنى ساعة تجاهل تشفيك
عندنا بس لسه
Oh, it's so nice.
What do you have to eat?
I will.
Tell me where we are again. We are in Shibika.
Okay, go ahead. I'm filming this.
Okay, no name yet. So Shibika is the third mountain oasis we have in Tunisia. We visit already Midas and then Temerza, and this is Shibika. And the three villages were flooded in 1940. So people abandoned the village, and they now live over there on the other village on the other side. And well, now it's just the oasis is still in use.
Foot on Klein, baby.
Yes.
Oh, Derek, be careful. This salty lake. So as I told you before, Tunisia is the flattest country among the three countries of North Africa. And we are here. We're crossing this road and we are really here. Thank you. This lake all over, you still only have water around this lake because you have the deepest points here. And it is below the level of the sea. That's why it is salty and it keeps getting water. During winter you have water everywhere, it tends to be a lake, and then during the summer it gets drier and we extract salt from this lake. And then in the 1920s we have, I wonder if you know Ferdinand de Lesseps, the one who did the Suez Canal. Yeah, he came to Tunisia and he wanted to dig a canal between this end and the Gulf of Gabas. And fortunately, the people were against that big and huge project. He wanted to bring all the ships to Tuzar here and make it easier for them to bring all the goods. But then people were against this project because it's very important for them to to keep the salty lake as it is because it's more salty than the Mediterranean Sea, and that's good for the soil around Tuzar here, and it is really good for the oases all over for the palm trees. So they were against it, and he did nothing, and he did no digging for the canal. He went to Egypt and he did his Suez Canal. He left this project. All around you have this lake. It's the biggest lake we have in Tunisia. You can have a look. You can go down even to take some photos of the water, of salt, and I give you about 15 minutes for some photos around.
The camera.
Sit.
You're not dressing out for no.
These are actually
Well, there's a lot more.
I love this.
But we just want to have souvenirs of the group.
Stay there.
You go and take a dress, we'll take a photo.
شوف شمال النبي يصور معاه جروب فوتو
Man, this is really tiring. Imagine if you have to sit on this one for a day. I always wanted to do this on the sand dune.
Yeah, this is great. Those feet, big broad feet,
The,
top of the sand.
they're amazingly adapted to this environment.
Yeah.
هكذا طايحة كل هذا كاني دبوزة
My friend, no problem, huh? Baby, 2 months.
Please. No problem.
Okay? Hello?
I brought some different shoes and I should
Hello,
have
friend.
one.
Right.
Hello, friend.
This is a different sand.
Possible you together,
Yeah.
my friend. Together, baby.
No,
Yeah, give me one dinner you have, please.
no.
You give one dinner for life, for baby. Because you have the picture.
How much I owe you?
Here.
Don't have them to 1 dinar. Mag 1 dinar, don't.
Look at this, funny how this sand give away, doesn't it?
This is a good sand. It's a high quality sand.
It is?
نهار بيمشي ضرب ضرب
You better talk to him.
صبرك الروكو ديما من المغرب عقب المغرب قدام المغرب بروح
هذا مكان الناس المصدر.
لكن سهل
جسمه. الناس المبادر.
سهل ذاك رمضان حق له والله منهم بعض نهارات بالله يظل ساعة نظل نبلد في المرق ديك الليلة نجيب الدبوزة وتلقاها ما هو شجر ما هوش في البيت بتاع داره
عربي يخلص فيه معنا في الجمال بعدها 500 وغادي نظام قال لك برا روح وزرت السياحه بعدك دخل شركه قال لك برا روح دخل
stay like that.
عارف الخمسة
حطهم يضربوا ثلاثة ورا بعد كل تعشير.
اي ليزو بعد
وهنيك ركب الطاولة بزرق 15 كيلو.
الولد تمشي يعني طيشرة اما تخلص عليه لا يا مرة انا مرة عندي هسه
That could smell danger in Egypt. That was not a good sign.
هم عليه هم ذا مش في واحد يقول زي قايمه ويركبها لا مش هيك عندك شاب انت نجم منهم على يركب يخيب واحد
أنا واحد من الناس يقول لي 6 أو 16 فشل. صراحة ما هي.
You know, diving is so adventurous.
Yeah, it looks pretty amazing. I see amazing pictures.
Yes. You know, the best thing about it is when you are, it's like flying.
Yeah, because
That-
you're in 3 dimensions. Yeah.
Right. That's probably what, and then when you come out, because you have bubbles in your vein,
Yeah.
it feels good.
Yeah. Okay.
The hair of camel, and then they cover everything, and they have a pillar over there, and few pillars all over on the different sides to hold the tent. If you want to go inside, you feel how cool it is.
It's nice and cool. Missing is a tea. Yeah.
Bring me a cup of tea.
Yes. Oh.
So you see how they used to dig their houses. In fact, they use a hill and they just dig their house into the hill. They do not build houses over here because The hills are not good for taking out rocks to build houses out of these rocks. That's why it's easier for them to dig their houses into the rock, and they do the house that way. And then inside you will see, because the area is a bit hot during the summer, and the house inside is really very cool. Whereas in the winter, because sometimes they have very cold days, it is really very warm. So it is a good way to keep the air fresh inside the house. We get into, you can see how it is. The doors are made out of palm trees. All the wood they have comes from palm trees.
They just at least out of the rock, right? Is it volcanic rock?
No. السلام عليكم. حضرتك سعيدة؟ الحمد لله. سامحني، لخاش عندك تواليت؟
هي عندنا تواليت كبار.
البابها أزرق؟ اللي بابها أزرق؟
اللي بابها أزرق هذيك تواليت.
تاع نساو الرجال هذيك؟ نساو الرجال، أوكي. هامي؟ هامي؟
هيمي.
Amy? We have back rooms outside with a blue door. And the outside.
Oh my God, opens up to. How many family lives in this house?
Well, generally one family, the parents' family, and then you have the children. When they grow up, they can take a room of the house.
How old is this house? Like 200, 300 years old?
Well, some of the houses are that old, that's right. So you see how they dig their rooms? This is, again, it's the same way as we have all the houses in Tunisia. You have an inside patio, and the rooms are all around this patio. It's exactly the same type of building, but then they have two floors. They have one ground floor and one first floor. They get up to the first floor with these ropes you see over there, and some kind of stairs. You can go inside the rooms and have a look to the different rooms. Some of them are for storage, some other rooms are kitchen. They do all these kind of things. You have an oven over there for cooking bread or cooking their food. You can have a look around. Which room, and they share the kitchen, or they share some common areas of the room. But generally you find a parent with the children. Yeah, it's easy for them to dig the houses in the hill rather than picking large block of stones to build their houses. Because first they don't have much wood.
Après, vous retrouvez à côté de la voiture. Oui.
Take my picture in here with her. Take my picture in here with her.
On what we call a podium or something high, or chair or anything like that. She wears her most expensive jewelry, she wears her beautiful clothes, and she stands on something high. The most important thing is it should be something high. But then the people all around that were invited for 7 days just give money to the husband and the wife to help them for their wedding. And then you have generally someone next to the husband and wife taking notes about who gave what, and all these are debts. Another day, if they have to go to their wedding, they have to give the same amount or something more. For instance, if you come to my wedding and I have some of you, like Tess is giving me 10 dinars, then I write it down. Tess is giving me 10 dinars for my wedding. But then when I go to some of her son's weddings or grandson's wedding, so I have to give her back 10 dinars or something more than 10 dinars. Yeah, that's the tradition, that's how it goes, and everyone participates. Yeah, and you have behind the troupe playing music, of course, and then generally also we do give money to the troupe, to the people with music, and you have them put under their hat, mainly the man who is crying get paid. Otherwise they don't get paid, they only get the dinner. You have the circumcision for a Muslim child. It's different. We will see the circumcision for a Jewish child. Because for Muslims you don't have a period, a fixed period for circumcision. It can be done within the 3 or 4 first years of life. But then for the Jewish people, it's fixed. It should be done on the 8th day of birth. It's really fixed. But then you have exactly the same thing as Jewish people doing their circumcision. And when they do journey, they have a jar. Unfortunately, the music is so loud here. They have a jar full of sweets for children, for the children coming, they invited. And once the baby or the child is crying, they break the jar on earth, and you have all the children crying and screaming to get one sweet, and makes the it makes it less painful for the child, and it just he's caring for other people getting the sweets, and then he will get some sweets later on. And colorful wedding clothes of different areas of Tunisia. As I told you, Tunisia is very small, but then different areas have got different things. Sorry. So you have different clothes of different areas. These are wedding clothes and wedding dresses for the bride. You can go through and see how colorful they are. Very expensive ones. You have a lot of gold everywhere, and you have even sometimes neighbor cities do not have the same dress. I'll show you some of them. Well, this one is the that's India. These are quite neighbor cities, but then the dress is completely different. Different colors, different jewelries. That's how it goes. And Sfax, that one is Sfax, and this one is Hammamet, and it's really very, very heavy to wear. He's doing lots of medicines out of herbs. They use some animals like bats, tortoises, and snakes, all these kind of things. And generally they use herbs for lots of medicines they do. She's just saying and predicting the future for the lady. That's a fortune teller. And people out of songs, they get into a trance dance, and they get into a trance. They can even bear eating cactus leaves, or even very sharp things, or even scorpions, like the statue over there. The guy is eating scorpions. Yeah, out of trance. They go in trance.
Do they dance like the dervish?
No, we don't go around like dervish, but I'm doing this. This movement, they get into trance, and they can eat whatever thing they have. You have over there cactus leaves. You have the scorpions, the statue. And these are still, not used anymore. Trance dance is not used anymore, but then you still have the processions of all the saint men all over Tunisia. So you have the procession and the flags of the saint men getting out, and generally we have a troupe of musicians. Let's go. Is it okay? Yeah. You have musicians playing music and the flags all over with incense. Again, jobs all over, and you have this guy is coloring wool, and they have different colors of wool all over. Area of Jerba. Jewish are really very important in Jerba. Jewish are really very important in Jerba because they have their own traditions, but their traditions tend to be the same traditions of the people in Jerba. So right now, nowadays when you go in Jerba, there is no difference between Jewish people and Muslim people, and don't get these differences. But 70 years ago, there used to be some differences, mainly in the clothes. If you see the guy over there, the trousers he's wearing have got a black stripe at the end. That's the sign that he is Jewish. Because Muslim people, the pants they wear are uniform, they have no stripes at the end. And the shashiyah, the red hat they wear, the journey wear the shashiyah on the back of their heads. Whereas Muslim people wear the shashiyah on top of their heads. But these were really traditions, very, very old traditions. You see the painting over there, you see a Jewish guy reading the Torah, and his shashiyah is on the back of his head. And here you have the Jewish circumcision. And as I told you, the Jewish circumcision takes place the 8th day of birth. Unlike for Muslims, where you have no fixed time. So here you have the baby having his circumcision. And again, the same signs for Jewish people and Muslim people. You have fish everywhere, and you will have the eye, we will see the eye later on. But these are really the same signs. They have nothing to do with religion. They have much to do with the heritage and tradition of these people. They have the same, exactly the same signs everywhere for the same purpose. The music of a really very famous Jewish singer, and he's really very famous. He's called Yaqub Shiri. I totally forget his name, but it's really very famous here in Germany. He's doing all this music, traditional Tunisian music. But then when you can go to Muslim places and you still hear this music, because we don't make the difference between Jewish or Muslim, so you have it everywhere. And mainly we used to have, well, he died actually, a musician and a singer. He had wonderful songs for birthdays, for weddings. He was really very famous, and you have his music all over Tunisia. And no one knew, well, people knew that he is Jewish, but then no one is making a difference. And you have his music played in every single wedding. Till now, every single wedding you go, you still hear this music. And it is Jewish music, well, it is Tunisian music after all, nothing to do. Then you see that the singer is still wearing his trousers with the black stripe underneath. That's again the difference. And the shashiyah, well, he's wearing the shashiyah, a normal one, because then things are changing. And now when you go to see the Jewish people in Ghriba, some of them still use the same trousers, same type of shashiyah, and some of them are just turned to have the same clothes as anyone. So no difference is actually made between Jewish or Muslim.
He's playing the oud.
The oud, yes, yeah. That's the Tunisian oud, it's not the Oriental oud. The Tunisian oud has got one chord more than the Oriental oud. So the music is slightly different. We have 6 and Oriental people have 5. That makes it a bit different.
But the Jews also use the hijab, right? The woman Jews?
Hijab, yes.
Yes.
For women, Jewish or Muslim, they use the same clothes. The only difference is for men.
Even on the wedding, they would have used one of those clothes?
Same. Even the clothes we saw already for wedding ceremonies, Jewish or Muslim, use the same clothes.
Just a stripe from the bottom.
Just a stripe for men, and these are everyday clothes. They use this camel to take away the grains out of the, well, what we call the remaining parts. And that's how it goes for grains. You can get into and have a photo over.
I have a cousin who looks just like that camel, and the camel looks better.
Why the camel? Well, sometimes camels get very upset and just bite. No, they do bite. Not all of them. Those who are used to people, who are used to get someone on their ham, do not bite because they are educated. But then those we use for agriculture generally are not used to man.
See, and have blades on it.
Yes.
I told you that that's they probably put those poor old camels that were there yesterday. The elderly ones get off and they end up dinner. I had some camel meat. Camel meat yesterday?
The other day was delicious.
Yes, we do eat them. They make here cloth. Over there you have a lady spinning to get the wool done, and then they use wool or cotton to make cloth. And over here you have all these threads, cotton threads, to make this cloth very famous in Jerba, and they use it to wear every day, and really every day they go. You see, the area here is really very fresh because we're just something like 1.5 meters underground, under the level of the ground, and that's how they build the most generally the painful jobs. They have their workshops underground to keep it fresh. We will see an oil press. Again, it's another underground oil press. Depending on the area in Tunisia, the south starts in September, and when you get up in the north of Tunisia, it goes till December. And we have different periods, generally in the fall. So this is an oil press. They take olives. They put them all over there with that very huge and heavy stone. You have a kiln turning, and all these olives turn to be this paste. They have a paste out of the olives over there, and then they take all this paste, they put it in these wares, they fill them with olive paste, and they take everything here. They take this paste, they put it inside these wares, and they put one on top of the other. And then you have very huge and big palm tree trunks that they press, and you have olive oil getting out of it and going on these small olive oil reservoirs. If you see over there, you have a canal going on 3 containers, and olive oil gets in the 3 containers over there. This technique is a Roman technique, very old one. Remember, we've been to Svitla, and the girl showed us an olive press in Svitla, how they used to do with wood all over. It is exactly the same thing. And we still, some of our olive presses in Tunisia are still using this technique. But then, well, it's not that, it doesn't produce as much as you use modern techniques. Some of them are trying to be much modern, but still we have some traditional olive presses in Tunisia. And the olive presses in the area of Jerba are always underground. And you have small holes over there to get light into the olive press. And even in Matmata, you still have another window over there to get light and fresh air over there. It is the same again, building technique as the houses in Bularigia. Remember the underground houses in Bularigia? Exactly the same techniques. Very small windows on the top of the ceilings, getting fresh air and light. And in the area of Matmata, people dig into the hill houses, and then they also dig olive presses into hills, and generally underground. They are still used, and we still have olive press, but then they are really private. Some of them we can visit, but then we need to go very deep into the countryside in Matmata to visit some of these. Circulation and for freshness, because if you have a flat ceiling, you feel it a bit heavy, and air does not circulate easily. When you have these kind of domes, air circulates generally and around a system. Even these domes, it's the same technique again is used for Roman people. They used to build this way with all arches all over. It's very good for air circulation all over on these domes too.
To get a liter of oil.
I think 1 liter should take 2 or 3, 2.5 kilos of olives. Yes.
And then to fill, once this paste is that obviously pretty concentrated.
Okay.
And it puts in there, where do they put this bag after it's filled
You
up?
see over there, the column, these are bags, one on top of the other.
Oh, stacked up.
Yeah,
Okay.
they put them one on top of
Got
the
it.
other.
It looked like
Yes.
from here, but I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they press it.
Yep.
With over there you have the screw, yeah. And then they press it.
Yep. I'm good. I didn't.
Okay.
See it. I was.
With the knots, so they take out the knots before doing it.
It's
The knots is inside.
It goes into powder. Everything goes into
So
powder.
the knots and everything is gonna.
Everything, of course. You don't take
Right.
the nut out of it. You cannot go on taking every nut from every single olive. They put olives and they take them, even sometimes leaves, because you not get out leaves or anything. And they put leaves, olives, anything they get into that area. And with the stone and the camel turning around, it turns everything into paste. The paste we collect, we just put them here in this hollow thing, and we put every single one. Oh, it should be closed. Then they put one on top of the other, filled with paste. We put them here, and we press them. We press everything, and you have eventually the entrance is never facing. The main entrance from the street is never facing the patio, so you have to get into, turn sometimes left or right, to get into that internal patio. We will go through the different rooms of the house. Ceremonies. This one is called the egg ceremony. They have to share the egg between the husband and his bride, and then again you have the mother-in-law. We saw. Oh God! You can have a look at water, and you see a small hole for showers. Very good. Yeah. Even if you go, well, in the house we saw yesterday in Matmata, we couldn't get into the bathroom of the house. But then some other houses have got the same thing, directly in the hill, and the same place for a shower, and it is really a private bathroom in the house. It's very important for Tunisian people to get their private bathroom, and it's a very old tradition from antique times, from the Roman period and even Carthaginian period. It's really important to get the private bathroom. To wear cat clothes or coats, generally. And it is the most, the freshest room of the house. This is the storage room. They store everything in it. It's a fridge. It's their own fridge where they can store olive oil. They store even fish. They put fish in olive oil and they close the jar. They just seal the jar. Some jars are sealed, and they store fish in these. Yes. Yes. No, you have nothing with that. And it's a very old, very old technique we have from Carthaginian people, and we discovered some of the ruins down in Qarqna, the second island of Tunisia, where they used to store fish, and the fish is really clean. And then you have an oil out of this fish, which is very expensive. Japanese people, yes, pay a lot of money for that oil out of the fish. In Tunisia, some families still use it and still work it out, but then not many of them do it. Store them into olive oil, and it can be stored for years.
Now, do they sell anything from here to the Japanese people for that?
Some companies still sell for Japanese people, but I don't have Japanese people coming to Tunisia directly, and they fish their tuna fish directly on the Mediterranean. Play this game in Tunisia. It's called Kharga. And you remember when we've been to Durga, one step of the church, the guy showed you some holes on the step of the church, of the anonymous church, and that was the game. It's the same game they're playing, and this game is still played here in Tunisia. Yeah, old people still play it.
What is it similar to?
It looks like chess play.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a bit of strategy, how to put your, generally you have two people playing. It's a strategy to win, and then you use different kinds of coins or stones, and everyone is playing with his own, and you have to...
Is that Egyptian game that Egypt?
Well, I really have no idea about the origin of this game, but I know that people during the Carthaginian period and then the Roman still now use this and play it. I have no idea about the origin of the game.
Un jeu traditionnel à l'occasion des cérémonies rituelles.
And here you have the lady working some, I'm sorry, some baskets and some hats out of the palm trees. Palm tree leaves are dried, and then they are cut into small stripes. They work out hats out of these and bags. We will see many of these in the market of Gebes, because over there they work all these kind of things out of the palm tree leaf stripes. And over there you have those colors, some colors. These are covers for dishes when you have very large dishes, and you have covers that we put on dishes. Yeah, it is very good because it keeps the food hot until you uncover it, and it's really very, very good. It doesn't get